Yes, welcome to the Sharp Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. Um, it's a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I want to do a special show. I was going to do a Tuesdays with Kathy show talking about my horrible governor in New York State, but I'm not today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And the reason why is people have been bugging me a lot about two things: Trump and Javier Milei from Argentina. So I thought, you know what? Let me give you what the people want, not just what New Yorkers want, but what a lot of people want. So let me do that and give you what we should be talking about for both of those things. And they're separate but linked, right? They're separate but linked. And I want to first talk about Trump and what I thought was the most important piece, particularly for libertarians. This is going to be a show that is heavily targeted towards libertarians. Not all my shows are, but this one is. This one is about how libertarians should think about what's happening with Trump and with Milei, what we should be doing, what's important for us for the future. People are asking me. So I do want to talk about those issues if I could. The first one is Trump. Why would I care about Trump? I'm a libertarian. Why do I care about Trump? He's Republican, right? Why do I care? Here's why I care tremendously about this. Not about his other lawsuits. Those don't bother me that much. The one that bothers me the most of all of them is the one for him to get ballot access, the one in Colorado, which he recently won. For those of you who may not know, the Democrats are trying to sue Trump off of the ballot, right? What they want to do is they say he is an insurrectionist. So because of the 14th Amendment, he is ineligible to be on the ballot. In case you don't know, the 14th Amendment was after the Civil War, and it said if you were an insurrectionist or gave aid and comfort to insurrectionists and you've taken an oath of office or an officer of the United States, you are no longer eligible to be on the ballot. You cannot be in the office anymore. That's the 14th Amendment. So they said, well, he did this thing, therefore he should be removed from office. Now people get upset. Oh, it's wrong. It's BS. It wasn't insurrection, all that stuff. Okay. Whatever your feelings are. To be forward, I don't care what your feelings are. It doesn't matter to me at all in this case. What I'm trying to get at is what actually happened. Now, he won the case. Am I upset about him winning the case? I'm not. It is in my personal best interest and every libertarian's best interest to have the most access to the ballot possible. Everybody being on the ballot only helps out third parties, only helps out libertarians. So for our personal issues, whether we like or don't like Trump, we want him on the ballot because we want more ballot access, right? So that's a win for him in this case. A win for anybody getting on the ballot is a win for us in theory. But this is embarrassingly bad what they did. The judge literally said in her writing, Judge Sarah Wallace, and by the way, a perfect example of how embarrassingly bad so many of our judges are. I mean, just a terribly bad, a complete state hack coward is what this judge is. She said he is an insurrectionist, but, and again, she not required, by the way, for her to say that, but she did. So she put that in her ruling to make sure she called him a bad guy, right? And then said, but the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to him. And you might say, wait a minute, why? Why does it not apply to him? Now, his argument was, and his lawyer said, you cannot keep him off the ballot because the First Amendment says we all have a right to speech and assembly, and this is someone who we want to vote for. Clearly, he was president before. You are taking away our rights if you don't have him on the ballot. That was their argument. She didn't talk about that argument. She said, well, the 14th Amendment isn't clear on whether or not he's an officer of the U.S. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. The 14th Amendment says if you take an oath to the Constitution, president does, if you're an officer, he's clearly that. He's the executive officer of the United States. You can't be on the ballot. She said, well, he's not really an officer. It's not clear, so he can be on the ballot. They might say, wait a minute, Larry, that makes no sense. Well, if you're a horrible grifter, scammer judge like she is, it makes total sense. You have to call him an insurrectionist because you have to, because that's your establishment, so you have to do that. But you don't want to throw him off the ballot for two reasons. One, you don't want to get in trouble, so you're a coward. And you don't want to give him the benefit of saying he deserves because of the First Amendment, because then other people could do that. So you make up a BS excuse, put him on the ballot, let the Democrats, if they decide to appeal, and let some other judge handle it. what a terrible, horrible judge she is. Yes, it's BS. It's embarrassing. And she publicly did it. There were only 4 answers you could have done with this one. Number 1, you can say he's an insurrectionist and he can't be on the ballot. Okay, that's fine. You can do that if you want to, right? That's one way. Now, people can disagree with that, but at least that would make logical sense. He's one of those. He can't run. Okay, I get it. The other one you can do, of course, is say, well, he's an insurrectionist, but I think that part of the Constitution is BS. I think it's wrong. It's un-American. I'm going to go against it. You can go ahead and appeal, but I'm going to say it's BS and I'm going to let him on the ballot. Okay, that's very controversial, but a judge could do that, right? They could. They'll appeal, controversial. But at least that would make sense. You're saying you disagree with it and they should be on it, right? Third answer, which I think is actually one of the better answers, which is the one I wanted. His argument was First Amendment supersedes the 14th Amendment. Therefore, he should be on the ballot. Tens of millions of Americans voted for him. You could say that. Yes, you could still, you gotta say he's insurrectionist. I get it, because you're establishment, so you gotta say it. So you say he is, you go, yeah, bad guy, insurrectionist. But say, but the First Amendment supersedes the 14th Amendment, and clearly people want to vote for him. He was president before, and even when he lost, he got tens of millions of votes. So therefore, he must be in the ballot because First Amendment supersedes 14th Amendment. Also, could be controversial, but again, that would make sense at least if you said that. And the last one you say is, he's not an insurrectionist, so off he goes. He's on the ballot. Go ahead, he's not. Any of those 4 would have worked. The one I wanted was the third option, because then that is my argument and the argument for other libertarians who run in the past. Because now if people want to vote for us, we got on the ballot. So it would have been important for him to get in the ballot, but we didn't. And what makes me angry here is that she was another coward. She'll pay no price for this. She's a complete hack and a terrible judge, and she'll pay no price for this. Judges constantly do terrible things like this and pay no price. And now what does it do now? Well, now it doesn't even make a precedent for any other judge. So she's helped nobody. If she would have made one of those 4 options, said, this is what I believe, there's the judge, right? I made these 4 options, either one of those 4, done. Now at least has precedent for other judges to go, yeah, okay, what she said makes sense. I'll buy that. Yeah, okay, done. Any of those would have worked, but none of them did. That's the problem, right? That's the biggest issue right now that bothers me about Trump and that issue. Now, why would I bring up Trump in connection to Milei? Because big L libertarians have us all thinking about something. How do we get on the ballot? How do we make impact in our country? How do we do that, right? He won as an open libertarian in Argentina. For those you don't know, Javier Milei, if you haven't heard yet, is the president-elect in Argentina. He's an open libertarian, and he has won an election there. And people are calling him, he's a Trump-like character, right? They're putting him in as Trump. He's a far-right, Trump-right character. So now I'm going to talk to you about what libertarians have to start thinking about here. If Trump is able to get in the ballot here, which is great, hopefully opening us up to be in the ballot, I hope so, if that makes sense. What are we going to do about Javier? He is libertarian, true, but he's also not American, and he's in a different world. We cannot judge him the same way. It would be unfair. It would be unfair to judge him the same way. But here's the weird part. People in America are going to judge him. And more importantly, they're going to judge us. Let me repeat that. They're going to judge us. So I'm asking you, if you consider yourself a libertarian, big L or small l, here's my request for you when anything pops up when it comes to Milei. When everything pops up. He is going to do things that are not libertarian. Of course. He's in a country run by socialists for decades. He's in a country with a completely broken economy. He's in a country with a bureaucracy that's going to hate him. To get anything done, he is not going to be able to be a pure libertarian. It is impossible. When he does something not libertarian, when he does, here's what I remember. You have to think about something. When he does something not libertarian, and you're a libertarian, there is an option you have that I take often, and you should consider it. When he does something not libertarian, You could just shut the fuck up. Take that the way I meant it. That's what I meant. You can do that if you want to. You can just say nothing. I do it all the time. People say things all the time, online, all the time, about me even. Tag me. And what do? I say nothing. Some of you know I have a team sometimes that helps out with my social media. What do I tell them to do? Say nothing. Silence is not violence. Let me say it again in case you think it is. You would be wrong. Silence is not violence. You don't have to say something. I'm not saying you need to not say anything. You can do what you want. You have a freedom of speech. You have the First Amendment. You can say what you want. But you can just shut up. That is something you can do. It's a choice you can make. I am asking you to take that choice. I will. I would like you to follow my example. I would like you to not have to, when he, does something not libertarian, go, I can't believe Milei did this stupid thing or whatever. He's not a real libertarian. Instead, shut the fuck up. Say nothing. Why? All of our enemies are going to look for everything he does and bring it up and attack him and call him names and devastate him. Why? To devastate us. They don't care about him. What they fear is that spreading to us. So they are going to attack him. Oh, they already have. I'm going to show you some videos now. They're already attacking him. Already. And as they attack him, we don't have to jump on to show how pure we are. Not required. Again, you can. But you shouldn't. I'm asking you not to. Just let it go. As long as he's doing most libertarian things, which I think he will, as he does libertarian things that you enjoy, please say so. This was a nice libertarian thing he did. Look at this. He did this nice libertarian thing. That would be nice. He does not require any more haters. He literally has millions of them. He does not require you. What he needs more of is cheerleaders, or just say nothing. Just go live your life. Just go run your own election. Just go help your own community. Just go live your life. Now, here's what you and I both know. There are going to be people who think, I got to call him out. First off, you don't have to call him out. You can, again, if you want to. It is okay. It is not required that you call him out. But someone's got to. No one has to. You might choose to. But please understand, if you choose to, you are not choosing to because you are so virtuous and important and valuable and helping. You're not helping. What you're doing is being selfish and destructive, which you can be because, again, you can do it if you want to. I can't stop you. But please understand something. You're not helping. You are just virtue signaling and being selfish and making things worse, and making things worse. So here's my other request of those out there. When someone starts going, well, he said this thing or did this thing, please, I'm going to ask you. Again, it's a request. I have no power over you. It's a request. Ignore it. Don't go, no, he's not. He's great. Don't do that. When fellow libertarians take a dump on him, and they will, because we always do. There's always some self-righteous libertarian who thinks they're helping. They're not. Who's trying to be self-righteous. They're not. Who wants to virtue signal and be perfect. And they're going to say, he should have done this thing. Please don't comment. Don't like. Don't share. Just ignore it. I do it often. You know my rules and my own personal rules I have. I don't point my finger at you until I point my finger at myself first. I ignore those things constantly. I don't say any of it. I'm asking you to not also. Please let this man who won as libertarian, let him fight his battles without you stabbing him in the back. Let him fight. If he loses, he loses. If he wins, he wins. But please don't add to it. And not just that. Remember, the people in America, they don't care about him. What they worry about is now we will gain power from it. So they are going to attack him and call him names. Our enemies don't need your help. Again, if you don't like it, you don't have to support it. You can just say nothing. That's what I'm asking you to do. Just shut the fuck up. And that sounds horrible. I don't care. I mean it. Stop. And if someone's going to be selfish anyway, awesome. Ignore them. Say nothing. Ignore them. Now, hold on. There's an exception here. What happens when the mainstream media starts saying he's a racist or he's a pedophile, whatever they're going to say? They're going to say whatever they're going to say. You know that. He's killing the old people or he's going to crush children or whatever he's going to say. They're going to say all those things. If you want to fight those, feel free. If you got something on you, or you got a chip on your shoulder and you want to strike out at his enemies. Okay, do that if you want to. Fine. That's fine. That's fine. Do that if you want to. It's fine. Because they're going to be fighting enemy back and forth. Whatever. I don't care. Do as you see fit there. All good. Right? I would try to make better arguments. As always, that's always my preferred method. But you do as you see fit. My request is when fellow libertarians begin to turn on him, and they will, because that's who we are, please ignore them. And also, please don't be them. Don't be the guy who stabs a libertarian in the back. There's no need to do that. Don't stab a libertarian in the back. Not required. Right? And don't jump on board when someone else does. When someone else stabs in the back, just stop. And here's why it matters so much. A year from now, 2 years from now, every mistake he makes, and he will make them because he's human, the media here in America is going to explode like he's the worst guy in the world, like everything he's done is terrible, like he's destroyed Argentina. That's what they're going to say. Guaranteed. And every good thing he's done, which he will do good things. Of course, libertarian, he'll do some good things. So the good things that he does, they will try to ignore or explain away. Now, hopefully we can push forward the good things and expand upon those. Hopefully we can ignore the bad things, right? We can ignore them. Because here's the reality. Whatever he does, it will be better than it is now. Whatever he does, it'll be better than it is now. That's for sure. That I can guarantee that. It will be better than it is now. I'm going to show you a video in a second to explain that. And the second piece is, if we can get people in America to see that man, this libertarianism, it ain't perfect. But man, it's way better than what we have now. We can make impact at our local level, impact at our state level, hopefully impact at the federal level, all those things, right? All those things. It's better. It's absolutely better. So let me grab a couple of comments here before I go on. I'm going to give you a quick video on this right afterwards if I could. So Dan says, Larry, I like that Milei was elected, but I have serious issues with foreign policy. He's pro-Ukraine and pro-Israel. Yeah, he's not perfect. Dan, you're right. I agree. 100%. He's not perfect. 100%. All I'm saying is, if he says something like, whatever, go bomb people or whatever he says, he might say those things. I'm asking you to simply ignore that part if he's doing other good libertarian things. You might say, Larry, am I not calling him out? Yes, it's fine. I would like you to look around the world and see if you can find another libertarian elected. You can't. You can't. He's the one. And why does that matter? It is, to be very fair, Dan, it is absolutely, to be very open, I should say, it is completely unfair. You are right. It is unfair and still true. They are going to judge all of us by him. That's just what's going to happen. Again, unfair. The Democrats, Republicans, and the mainstream politicians have been screwing this world and this country over for decades. And they get to just keep doing it. That's how the system currently works. It sucks. It's unfair. He is by no means perfect. You are absolutely correct. And I would like you to just go, you know what? Let's let it go. But Larry, you wouldn't say it about Biden or Trump. You're right. I wouldn't. They're not the only elected libertarian in the world. If that makes me weird or unfair or whatever, I don't care. I'm telling you the reality of life. I want him to have some successes so we can have some successes. So we have something to point to go, see, look, he did this and it worked. We can too. How many times, if you're listening to me, have you heard somebody say, well, what's an example? Libertarianism working and we don't have nothing to say. Well, now we might have something to say. So I don't care if he's pro-Ukraine. I don't care if he's pro-Israel. Don't care. Let it go. Let it go. That's my view. And if these are critical issues for you that are too important, I understand. You got to do you. Again, I have no power over you. I'm giving you my opinion on this. In my view, not worth it. Let him have some wins because we can have some wins. I need some wins in this country. This country is going the way of Argentina. They had 143% inflation, a 40% poverty rate. That's where we're going. Now, that versus caring about Ukraine and Israel, don't care. I know maybe that sounds horrible. I'm telling you my opinion on this one, Dan. I hope if you disagree, I hope you at least understand where my head is if you disagree. So please, as you see fit. Absolutely. Joel says, I replied to a post on Joe Jorgensen page that I hope Milei is actually libertarian. I got much hate and told him my research. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stop taking dumps on him. You could just say nothing. I don't have one post on him. This is the first show I've done on him. And the show is to say, please stop. You will not send the show on him unless it's something positive. You will not send the show on him except if it's something positive. Or I'm not saying anything. To Dan's point, if he's not talking about bombing, whatever, I'm just like, Javier, who? Next, I'm going to scroll on by. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll on by, right? That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll on by. So, yes. Joe says, if I was a judge, I'd be like, Trump won in 2020. So he's in his second term. He can't have a third. That's actually funny, Joe. I like that. Damn, Joe did a good joke. Well done. Well done. I like that. Dave says, Larry, Democrats need him on a ballot. Otherwise, Democrats might lose. The judge should have just said that. Thank you. Oh, my God, Dave. You're exactly correct. That is how what a coward that judge is. Yes. Dave goes on to say, translation, he's an insurrectionist, but I think Biden can beat him if he's on the ballot. So we're going to keep him on the ballot. Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. Yes. So, all right. Let's see if I can go here. The lunatic libertarian says Argentina mass migration. Well, look, maybe he'll have a lot of success. I mean, who knows? Look, to be very forward, to be fair, as someone who's run for office in a state like New York, which is basically a communist state, it is not easy to create policies or anything like that, at all, because the system's set up against you. I hope he'll have some things, right? I hope he'll have some successes. I really hope he will. I really do. So, yes. Thank you for $5 of the super chat. Fountain Forum says the Fountain Forum has the best coverage of Javier Milei in English. I've done 23 shows so far. There'll be more. Come and watch. There we go, guys. Head over to Fountainhead Forum and check them out if you like, so you can see that. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. But if you guys do want to super chat, you can always super chat me if you're watching me on Larry Sharp YouTube page. You also, if you like what I'm saying, click the like button if you would. If you're watching on Twitter, please share it. It really does matter. Retweet this right now. Every little bit counts. Doing that would help tremendously. It absolutely does. So let me grab this if I could keep going here. Dave goes on to say, my 80% friend is not my 20% enemy. Yes. Again, I want to be clear. There are things he's going to do you're not going to like other people talking about Israel and Ukraine. I get it. I'm just saying you don't have to attack him publicly. It's not required. If you want to send his campaign a note or something like that, that's fine. He is going to be hammered like there's no tomorrow already. He does not require any more at all. Yes. Let's see here. Hal says you could just, yes, STFU is good advice in most situations. Yes, I would agree, Hal. You can't just shut up in many situations. It is a choice you can make. Again, not requirement, but it is a choice you can make if you want to. I make it often. Rarely do you see me in the spats in the movement. Even when they pull me in, even when they insult me directly, it is very rare you see me in the spats in the movement. I just shut up and keep scrolling. I would ask you to often do the same thing. Yes. Lunatic Libertarian says words are not violence. Correct. Absolutely. I think that's a critical piece to understand. I completely agree with that. Absolutely. So, yes. See if I get it right. Is it Gwenhafar? Is that right? How would saying he's an insurrectionist be an option when he hasn't been convicted of it? It's just, well, in our opinion, he is. And yes, and that's my point. As a judge, right? If you say that, if you say he's an insurrectionist, you can make that choice or opinion as a judge. She has the power to do so, is my point. But if you're going to say that, you can't sit there and go, but he was an officer. No, if you're going to say, if that's what you're going to say, which she did, you have to have one of three options. One, in which case he can't run. Option one, right? And I get the argument against that, but at least that would be a logical decision if you were to say that. Well, the other two, which I think are just as good, which is you say we think he's an insurrectionist, but this is BS. I'm against this. See you in the appellate courts. Or he's an insurrectionist, but the First Amendment's more important. Democracy matters. The people want him. The First Amendment right supersedes the 14th. He's on the ballot. Those are fine. Any of those could work. Or he's not an insurrectionist on the ballot. These are all logical decisions a judge could make. Again, whether you agree with that or not. The one decision a judge made was an insanely stupid, cowardice reason. Terrible. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. It was a terrible issue. That's what I wanted to bring up. So yes. All right. Jonathan says, first headlines after the election was he's a he's a right-wing libertarian. Media's already scared of the third parties in the next life. Thank you, Jonathan. You are reading my mind. You are reading my mind. If he would have lost, it would have been, see, of course, dumb libertarians can't win. They were waiting for that. Of course, see, libertarians can't win everywhere, blah, 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 all of that stuff, 100%. But now he won. Now they have to destroy him because destroying him destroys us. Right? Let me say that again. Destroying him destroys us. So that's why I'm asking you, when he is imperfect, he is imperfect, Jonathan. There's stuff you're going to hate about him. I'm sure. I'm asking people when that happens, just go, keep scrolling. Whatever. Keep scrolling. We are looking to take advantage of his victories so that we can win. And I don't care if that seems political or diabolical or whatever. Yes, they do it to us all the time. And they're going to pick all of his failures and slap them in our face. So let's take any glory that he has and take advantage of it. Legacy Zach says, rather the people of Argentina have hope to hold on to than nothing else. Yes, I think that's true. That does give them hope. 100%. Yes. Yes, I think that's right. Yes, that is some hope. And I want us to have hope too, right? I do want to have that kind of hope too. Let me, if I could, I do want to show you, if I could, a little bit of a video. This is from the Young Turks. Now, why did I pick the Young Turks? Because, they hate libertarians and they were going to be the number one, but they're also not, they're independent-ish media. So they're going to try to do it in a way that is, try to act like they're independent, right? But most of them most of media, any media other than Tucker Carlson is basically saying this is like a terrible thing and it's bad and it's only because people are desperate and that's the only reason. Otherwise, they would never do it, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that's basically what happened. So hold on. Let me see if I can pop this on real fast so you guys can see this. Let me get rid of this banner so you guys can see this. I hope you can. And this is
now where supporters of the right-wing outsider Javier Milei have been celebrating his victory in the presidential election. Mr. Milei, known as El Loco, or the Madman, pulled off.
Of course, they immediately call him, literally, Jonathan, to your point, the attack immediately. They call him the Madman. Literally, he won, and he's the crazy guy. But if the other guy had won, who literally was part of the economic team that destroyed Argentina's entire economy, that guy's the okay one. But the one who wants to fix it, he's the madman.
A major upset. Provisional results show the self-styled anarcho-capitalist won with 55.7% of the vote.
The people of
By the way, anarcho-capitalist was not a descriptor. That was an insult. In case you were wondering why she used that phrase, that was not a descriptor. That was an insult.
Argentina have elected far-right outsider Javier Milei as their new president, delighting the far-right here in the United States. Now, before we get to their gloating, here are some details about Milei and why voters.
Okay, see, this is the issue. She immediately says right away, right? She immediately says, they're gloating because, of course, we're mean and because we just gloat. But when they win, they don't gloat. We're gloating now. We're all far right. All of us are far right. None of us are libertarians. We're all far right. And let me explain why, because you have to understand why, because clearly only crazy people do this.
chose to go with this anti-establishment candidate. Now, he won against Renewal Front Party candidate Sergio Massa, 55.7% to 44%. Milei has promised drastic changes, which include ditching the local currency, the peso, for the dollar, and blowing up the central bank. He has also proposed cutting welfare payments and slashing bureaucracy by closing the ministries of culture, women, health, and education, among others.
Now, think about this. He's promised all this, and people still voted him in, right? Now, these people clearly are lefties, and I'm not insulting them. They believe that. They would go by that in a heartbeat. The people who are on the Young Turks would happily, openly accept the title of leftists. They're all leftists, and they would absolutely accept that. So this seems like the end of the world to them. They can't imagine a guy who would say this. And the people are poor, right? They're poor, yet it still worked. This drives them crazy.
On social issues, he is as far right as you would expect, very similar to what we see here among right-wing politicians in the United States. He wants to loosen gun laws. He wants to abolish abortion, which was actually legalized in Argentina fairly recently in 2020. And he also wants to allow the free market sale of organs in the country, human organs, that is. Now, his victory comes amid deep.
Now, again, this is all insults. Again, this is character assassination. Remember what will happen. When they can't beat you on argument, they will always go to character assassination. That's how it works. So understand this is character assassination. That was the part I didn't like. I didn't like the idea of abolishing the abortion, but I didn't like that part, right? People should have choice. You should make easier choices. I do believe that. However, you'll hear that here now. You will never hear me say that ever again. I will just walk away. I will just say nothing.
A deep economic crisis, which has seen annual inflation rise to 143%, and 40% of Argentines living in poverty.
And here is the biggest point here. When you have 143% inflation and 40% of Argentinians live in poverty, do you think they care about any of his social this? No, they don't. They care, can I put meat in my fridge this week? That's all they care about. Can I have some protein in my refrigerator this week? That's it. I don't get, can I afford to feed my dog different food than me? Can I do that? That's all they care about. And if I'm in that spot, I don't blame them. I think it's the right move, 100%. America is going there. I would like us to change before we get here, because we are on our way here. And the people are still shocked. Like, how can this guy win? Because the system they had, which was run by socialists for years, gave them this. That's why.
Now, I give all that information to kind of explain where the hearts and minds of the voters in Argentina happen to be. I think that is something that we should listen to, we should consider. So I don't want to put words.
Be afraid of, to Jonathan's point, be afraid of, because we're going there, right? Be afraid of. Yes, absolutely. So Hal says, let me grab House where he says, House says, I get what you're saying, ignore his failures and focus on successes so libertarians can utilize those successes. But at what point are his failures too big to be able to use his success? It's a great point, Hal. All I know is in the next 6 months to a year, we won't know. So I'm asking libertarians to just kind of let it go for the first year. Look, to be forward, he may become a terrible dictator. We don't know, right? Power corrupts. How your point's a valid one. Power corrupts. He may go, oh, this power is great. I'm going to become a dictator now. That could absolutely happen, in which case, turn on him. Put the knife in his back. Figuratively, FBI. Figuratively, CIA. Not figuratively, not literally, right? Of course. I completely agree with that. I'm saying we don't know yet. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Why am I giving him the benefit of the doubt? Because he had many opportunities, how to change and to sell out. Many. He didn't. So my gut tells me he's going to try his best to do as he says. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe he's fooled us all. And he's a terrible dictator, and he just can't wait to put on a dictator hat. If so, we'll know in the first year. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's the answer. I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. And if so, I'll be the first one to be on here and tell you that, hey, I was wrong. Let's hammer them.
In their mouths, the BBC actually spoke to voters in Argentina, and here's what they had to say.
No estoy de acuerdo con todas sus políticas
sociales,
pero sí con la mayoría de las económicas. Y me parece que Massa no está dando su plan. No está diciendo qué va a hacer.
Mucha corrupción con el gobierno
This guy says a lot of corruption with the current government,
mucha pobreza,
a lot of poverty,
inflación,
a lot of
la economía
inflation.
no hizo nada, es el peor gobierno de la historia de la
This is the
Argentina.
worst government in history of Argentina, and that's why I want to change.
Un cambio.
Me inclino por Milei
I'm leaning
porque el
towards
modelo
Milei
de
because
país de este
this
joven
young man
es un
is of the
país,
country, is a model of the country.
Como te
And how do we
dije,
say
libertario,
libertarian?
sin un hombre
He's an
honesto,
honest man,
que eso ya es
and that's
mucho.
already a lot. I want you to hear that. He's an honest man, and that's already a lot. Wow. She's like, I don't care. At least he's honest. I mean, the rest of them are all corrupt, so I don't care what he's doing. Like, again, they showed young people, older people, men, women, all saying the same thing. It's a disaster. I don't care. Yes, I'll take him. And I completely agree, right? I completely agree. So, Son of Libertarian says, so now we know the answer to the question, how bad does it need to get for you to vote Libertarian? 100% plus inflation is apparently the answer. No, I hope you are wrong. Let's learn before this happens. God, I don't want you to be wrong. I want you to be wrong. You might be right, but I want you to be wrong. That's what I'm saying. You might be right, but I want you to be wrong. Dave says, can they avoid eating their dog? Yeah, that's the other issue they're worried about, right? Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Legacy, Zach says, the economics is the only issue as the politics causes bullshit. Agreed. However, Zach, you know this, brother. You know this. This is also about emotion. It's both, right? This is politics. Politics is not just logic. It's logic, and it's also emotion. It is both of those things. And sometimes more emotion than logic, depending upon the situation. Sometimes more emotion than logic. But yes, it is both, right? So that's the issue. Yes. This guy says, we are choosing between two very different models.
Muy diferentes entre un modelo
Between a model that has failed
en América Latina y un modelo
and in
que es
Latin
algo
America, a
diferente
model that
que
is
no me convence
different.
del todo,
I'm not
pero
completely
que
convinced
muestra
that
algo
it's different.
diferente
He's
y
not
bueno,
100% sure.
hay que,
But we have to give
para
it a
mí,
chance.
darle la oportunidad.
El futuro está en un
The
cambio
future is
y el
unfolding,
cambio estará por verse,
and
pero
change
no
yet to
lo
come.
que hubo.
But it will not happen through what we already
Años
had
de lo
for
que
years.
hubo.
So clearly, they note all sorts of flaws within the political system in Argentina that they want to fight back against, and so they're.
Do I know any other country that has flaws in the system that might stop somebody from getting on the ballot or win? I don't know. This is a unique thing. I've never heard of this.
Placing their bets on this anti-establishment candidate who is now the president-elect. They mentioned corruption. They mentioned an unstable economic system that has led to poverty. And as you can tell from the multiple answers that they gave journalists there is deep anti-establishment sentiment because they feel that the traditional political parties have failed to provide the representation that they want in the country.
Do you have a mirror there that you could look into? Do you have a mirror you could look into? Because that's kind of what I'm looking into. And look at the title on the lower third. That's Loco. So everything she said, it's crazy. Yeah, she thinks this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to get through their heads. The answer is never for people that are in Washington in this country. It's the whole world is sending the same message. It's so obvious.
Cenk is right here.
Change.
Yes.
These neoliberals, which by the way, the words are confusing because neoliberal actually means economically conservative, okay? But unfortunately, the Democratic Party has adopted it from the.
Hold on. Neoliberal means economically conservative. He made that up. Okay. You were doing good for a second, Cenk, then you just made that up. Okay. What you mean is I want to find a way to attack conservatives. So I want to call Democrats conservatives so I can say I'm a leftist and I'm better. So if that's your goal, well done, Cenk. But otherwise, you just made it up.
Republican Party here in America. So it's filled with neoliberals like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. Those folks think, oh no, the establishment is the way to go. Status quo, corporate rule. bottom down. We tell you what to do. You shut up and take it. If there's ever an economic crisis, we blame you for it. We punish you for it. But we give giant bailouts to the rich, to the corporations.
Well, I'll give Cenk one thing at least, right? I want to give people credit where credit is due. He was a Biden supporter in the past. At least now he's not. So you know what? I will give him that. Cenk has moved away. He's running for president himself. He wants someone else to win. He's anti-Biden. So I would say, I'll give him that. Finally, he has made a change. He's still scared of libertarians and his politics still suck. However, at least he realizes Biden's not the answer. The establishment is not the answer. Joe says, Obama was elected for change. So was Trump. Yes, yes, and yes. You are completely right, Joe. That was exactly why. Everyone believed, not everyone, lots of people believed that Obama was different to change. Clearly, he was not. But I think you're right. People did believe it, right? They bought what he was selling. They bought it, right? I completely think that's correct. So yes. So Scientific Libertarian says, is it counterproductive to mention that Javier looks like Red's neighbor Bob from that 70s show? No, that's fine. You could tease him. Tease him. No worries. Absolutely. Kyle says, Cenk always does good for a second and then reverts to his shoreline. You're right. Yes, that's true, right? He reminds me sometimes of Bill Maher. Bill Maher does that sometimes, like starts out like libertarian and then all of a sudden goes, but by the way, I'm just a Democrat. So he does that too sometimes. Bill Maher will get that. Oh, is he doing it? Oh, no, he's not. So yeah, I think that's true. But what I'll give a lot of people who are either Democrats or lean left, very often, they are very good at describing the problem, right? Again, credit where credit is due. They're often very good in describing what's wrong. Here is the problem. And I often go, yeah, you're right. That's the problem. It's correct. And of course, they'll say, and to solve it, more government. No, you were doing so good. Why'd you go there? So it's common, 100%. Yes. So, all right, let me see if I can grab down here and keep going here.
So the banks, that's neoliberal policies. Well, the whole world is vomiting those policies. They hate it.
Yep.
Wherever anyone raises their hands and goes, I'm different, they go, yes, that one. Even Macron in France, you know why he won? Because he was outside the two parties and people thought he was going to be for change the first time that he won.
Yep.
And every time everyone's shocked. And now they're shocked in Argentina. Can you believe the guy who's for a lot of change won? Of course I can believe that. They have inflation at 140%.
100%.
What kind of maniac runs on status quo?
Biden's doing it. So I guess that kind of maniac? Yes. Nikki Haley's doing it. So I guess that kind of maniac? There's a lot of maniacs doing it, Cenk, just to answer your question.
The kind of maniacs that run the Democratic Party here in America.
And look, I can't help but notice the parallels to Donald Trump because as we showed you the video.
Now to be clear, the reason why she's doing this is she's doing her job in this show right now is attack dog, right? That's her job. So she is just going to go out of her way to absolutely attack and again, she's not going to attack the policy very much at all. What she's going to do is character assassination, right? That's the goal. She can't attack the policy because clearly his policies aren't tested yet. They will be, obviously. But so she has to go to character assassination. She has to set him up for failure. Now, Cenk will back her up soon.
The voters explaining why they support Milei.
Why they're crazy.
You know, one of the women specifically said, look, I don't like.
Now, by the way, they're talking about Milei. Who's the picture of? Trump. Because people who watch TYT, this is the evilest man in the world to them, right? So they basically put Satan up and start talking about Milei. I wish I was joking. I'm not, right? They're not talking about Trump. They're talking about Milei. And here is the bad guy, orange man bad, right here.
His social policies, I don't favor them, but I do favor what he wants to do economically, right? Now, I think much like Trump, he's probably going to, there's going to be a lot of talk with really no execution in.
And bingo, here it is. Now, talk with execution. This is where there's doublespeak. She's saying he can't really do anything, which doesn't mean his policies are bad. He's going to be ineffective, she says. And that's why he's bad.
improving the economic conditions for ordinary people. I mean, look, that's just my prediction. Let's just wait and see, I guess. Let me be fair.
I guess.
However, analysts say that Milei's aggressive style and his promise to do away with the political caste.
So his aggressive style, that's bad because aggressive. Not his policy, he's aggressive. So clearly he's probably toxic masculinity is probably what it is. That's the problem right there, right? Do away with the political caste. That's a bad thing. Now, again, the more democratic you are, meaning small d Democrat, no, big D Democrat, Democratic Party, right? The more you want establishment. Now, Republicans want establishment too, not as much. There is a chunk, and most of that's because of the aggressive kind of MAGA side of the Republican Party that is much more about burn it all down, we don't care, change it. That chunk isn't. There's much less of that in the Democratic Party. Most of that in the Democratic Party has left the Democratic Party, right? It's in the Green Party, or it's in leftist, or it's in the RFK bin. It's someplace outside of the Democratic Party, right? The Bernie people, a lot of them have left the Democratic Party. They want change. But the people who are left, they like the political caste system. That's a good thing. I have friends here in New York City. Most of my friends in New York City are Democrats. And they'll say things like, well, you can't vote for that guy. He has no experience. I'm like, that's the reason to vote for him. The experienced guys keep screwing you over, right? Eric Adams had experience. Kathy Hochul had experience. Andrew Cuomo had experience. And New York State's a disaster. That experience, they have experience in screwing you over, so they'll keep screwing you over. But they still feel like that caste, that political aristocracy has value. And they say it openly. And these are people, by the way, I'm talking to, who aren't running for office. They're middle-class New Yorkers who believe this.
Which he blames for the country's ills, appealed to voters who are fed up with Argentina's established parties. He said, quote, this model of decadence has come to an end. There is no turning back, he told his supporters in his victory speech, promising a new era for Argentina.
So they're attacking him, right? They're attacking him for being aggressive and saying, this is terrible, right? He's saying it's terrible and I'm going to end it. I'm going to break it. It's over. That's a bad thing. When you're at 143% inflation, that's the best thing you possibly do. The system is garbage.
From being the richest country in the world, today we are ranked 130th. Half of Argentines are poor and the other 10% are destitute. Stop this impoverishing model of the caste. Today we embrace the libertarian model. So as
she says that laughing. See how she is insulting. She says that laughing. Today we embrace the libertarian model. The model you had literally destroyed your nation. And you laugh at this one. This is why I'm asking you, if you are a libertarian, whether you're a big L or little L, this is why I'm asking for grace for him. How you asked a very valuable and important question. At what point do we say, wait a minute, this guy's a POS? Maybe he is. I'm being clear. I don't know if he is. I'm asking you all for grace for him for at least 6 months, if not a year, to take advantage of his successes and to kind of ignore his failures. You don't have to support his failures. Just don't talk about it. Scroll on. Don't jump on board, because you can guarantee every mistake he makes, TYT is going to do a full show on it. Talk about how bad he is, all this stuff. You can guarantee they're going to do it. It does not require, they don't require your assistance. They're good at character assassination. He hasn't even taken the oath yet. They're already on it.
To return to being a global power. And remember, he wants to cut down the welfare state in Argentina.
Yes.
Which I would venture to say is unlikely to bode well for the very voters who are concerned about their own.
Those people voted for him. Not going to bode well for their economics. They voted for him. The welfare state's not working, or they wouldn't have voted for him. But in her mind, she can't imagine that, because she believes the welfare state saves people. She honestly believes that. Now, clearly she's wrong, but she believes that. She doesn't understand the welfare state is simply a state that puts people into more poverty. She cannot imagine that.
economic stability, but we'll see how it plays out. And there are fair questions about how much he can actually do given the political limitations in Argentina. For instance, his party only holds a small number of seats in Argentina's Congress that he will need to therefore have, like he'll have to negotiate with them.
And this is my point. He will have to negotiate, she's right, and have concessions. And to my hardcore libertarians, who when he does that, you will just want to jump out of your skin. I know you will. I feel your pain. You will want to jump out of your skin. I know you will. And I'm asking you, when he does that, just go, I'm going to turn off my computer right now. I'm going to go touch some grass. I'm not going to go online and scream. I'm going to let this go and see if he has some successors. I'm asking you to do that. It would help because she's not going to. She's going to be jumping up and down, and she's going to do a double standard. She's going to talk about her and all people like her are going to do the same thing. If he can't get his policies passed, she's going to call him terrible. If he does get his policies passed, she's going to call him a tyrant. So he's going to lose in her eyes no matter what he does. We don't have to add to that.
And engage in concessions in order to get any policies accomplished. But despite his anti-establishment rhetoric, he has in the past been quick to basically bury the hatchet if it benefits him.
And that's a bad thing, she says, bury the hatchet. I am the same way. Why would he want to bury the hatchet? Why? Here's the reason, and some of you don't get this, some of you do. When you're a small party with no power, when you're a small group with no power, you need allies. You need them. When I have people who stab me in the back and I forgive them, it's insane. Why? I don't have anybody else. We're a small group. I need all of you. Some of you watching right now probably said bad things about me behind my back or to my face, or stabbed me in the back, or told someone not to help me, not to support me. Happens all the time. I need you though, so I'm still talking to you because there's nobody else. You see me, I have people from other parties on this show. People from the LaRouche party, people from the Forward party. I have Republicans, Democrats. I have DSA members on this show. Why? I need every ally I can get. I am fighting a monster of a system that she is helping to perpetuate when she says she's not, but she's helping to perpetuate it. And so is he. And so was he. So he buried the hatchet and decided, you know what? I need some allies. And he followed what Dave said. My 80% ally is not my 20% enemy. They are my 80% ally. I need them. I will even do single issue coalitions to move things forward. Yes, I have to get past this massive thing. So I can look, we ally with the communists to beat the Nazis, right? You got to do it sometimes. Then we ally with the Taliban to beat the communists. You got to do it sometimes, right? Sometimes you've got to do it. And this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. So yes. Scientific Libertarian says, JFK Jr. is a huge POS who has caused death of Samoan children, and they still don't criticize him as much as Harvey. I guess I don't really know about that issue, but my point of bringing RFK Jr. up was not because I loved him. That wasn't my point. My point was these are people who have left Democratic Party because to be an outsider, you can't be in Democratic Party. It's too connected, right? The Republican Party has a wing of rebels. The Democratic Party doesn't have one. You have to be outside the party to be a rebel. That's all I was saying. I wasn't making a judgment on RFK, except that he is a rebel. That was my only judgment. So I never heard of this, by the way. So I believe you just didn't know that. So Andrew says, I think the establishment media here ran out of ideas. Well, yeah. So they go right to character assassination. Sure. Yes, they go right there. Of course. Lexi Zach says she needs to read Bastiat. Yeah, she probably has. She just Menger and Mises. Yeah, she might have already. She might not care. I don't know. This pays her bills.
Following his win in the first round, he actually stopped attacking the third-placed candidate, conservative Patricia Bullrich, who in turn threw her support behind him.
This is why this right here is why they don't want runoffs. They want ranked choice voting, any of that stuff here in America, because third parties would kill it in that. Third parties would. Particularly Libertarians. I think others would too. Forward would do well. Greens do okay. Constitution would do well too. Other parties would do well, particularly in certain states, if they had this type of voting system, because that happens, right? Democrats, Republicans almost never cross over, but third parties often do. So yes, exactly what happened. The conservatives said, I don't want the socialists, so I'll take the libertarian, which happens often.
In the second round. And even more concerning is his choice of running mate. That is something that I think people in Argentina should be aware of if they're not already.
She acts like they don't know who his running mate is, right? Because clearly if they voted for him, it's because they're stupid or ignorant or something, because otherwise they would know, oh, desperate. That's what she's saying. The reason why they voted for him, not because they said libertarianism is a good idea, it's because either they're desperate or stupid or ignorant.
So his choice of Victoria Villarruel as his vice presidential running mate shocked human rights campaigners in the country, in which 30,000 people were killed or forcibly disappeared under military rule from 1976 to 1983. Yep. Apparently his running mate, who's now gonna be the VP, comes from a military family.
So to be clear, the running mate comes from a family that defended officers convicted of crimes. And that's how they're attacking her. What bullshit is this? So my father was a lawyer who defended criminals. So now I'm somehow connected to a military junta. That's her argument right now.
Has defended officers convicted of crimes against humanity and proposed dismantling a museum which commemorates victims of Argentina's military junta.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Clearly, she's basically Hitler. That's what she just, look at that face. This is my point. We don't have to jump on him. They're already on it. He hasn't taken the oath yet. And they've already said he's basically Hitler already. He hasn't taken the oath yet. So we can give the guy a little bit of grace. We can kind of let him go for a little bit, libertarians. We can. Give him some grace. He's putting up with this. If he can survive this, what is going to happen when one of us wins? We're going to get the same treatment. Worse from people like her and her ilk. Worse.
So look, guys, there's the number one problem here is the establishment all across the world bottles up populists on the left. And they don't let him out. They're like, no.
Okay, it's not they. This is the Democratic Party, which is so broken. All of those populists have to leave the party or they get shut out. That's why Andrew Yang started Forward. That's why you have RFK out there. That's why you have Cornel West out there. That's why you have the Green Party, because anybody who wasn't establishment in the Democratic Party gets pushed out. The Republican Party still has a chunk of people fighting. They have a chunk still fighting within the party. How long can the Republican Party hold on? Who knows? They may eventually become Democratic Party light. Right. I mean, when it comes to that issue, you have to go to other parties too. That might happen also for them. Who knows? Right now, there's still a chunk of people fighting in the Republican Party.
Oh, if you're coming from the left, you have to be an establishment elitist prick. And you have to talk about how the status quo is great and we should all live under corporate rule. And if any populist pops up their head like Bernie Sanders did and Jeremy Corbyn did, they get attacked viciously. And if you're not at the stature of a United States Senator like Bernie Sanders, oh my God, you're gonna get eviscerated, right?
Not wrong.
And so what does that do? It leaves populism only to the right wing.
Again, Cenk often will explain the situation correctly. He does. That's true. That's accurate, right? But watch him go off the rails. But this part is 100% accurate. Yes.
But populism is going to win. Of course it's going to win, you schmucks. So when people are suffering under 140% inflation like in Argentina, the chance of them voting for the same old the status quo is 0%. How could you be surprised by that? How stupid are all these leaders? Yes. It's not about being stupid. It's greed, it's selfishness. If we just take a little bit more from the people and call that leftist, that's not leftist, that's the opposite of leftist. So what?
Well, no, that is kind of leftist though. I mean, that part you're wrong. See, yeah, that's leftist too, right? That's all of them.
What is this clown in Argentina gonna do? He's gonna now privatize almost all.
Now he goes off the rail. Now he calls him a clown in Argentina. Now he's a clown. They started with let's be fair, let's talk, and they wrap it up with now he's a clown. He's gonna privatize everything. Yeah, they didn't, and look what happened.
Everything in Argentina. And you know what happened last time that happened in Russia, for example? The biggest robbery you've ever seen in your life. It created the Russian oligarchs. It created a system that eventually led to a dictatorial regime under Putin at this point.
All possible he is right. And it's again goes back to Hal. Your point's a valid one. Goes back to what you said. This might happen in Argentina. I don't think it will, because the people who took over in Russia were basically former oligarchs. So they did what they already knew. Libertarians didn't take over Russia, right? When the Soviet Union fell, Russia, who jumped in? Literally, Putin's from the KGB, right? Yeltsin was a former mayor. Was it mayor of St. Petersburg, mayor of Moscow? One of those two, right? So yeah, I get it could happen. He might be right, but he's assuming that anybody who's on the right, anybody who's libertarian, anybody who's not his former socialist is a bad guy.
Faking elections, etc. It leads to nothing but disaster.
What he doesn't get is the people to go from Russia were socialists. They were his ilk. They were his people. Like they weren't my people. My people, libertarians. They were his people, socialists who took over in Russia. And what happened? Oh, oligarchy and disaster. Yes.
So since the only option for populists was right wing, they went right wing, and now it's going to lead to disaster. But anytime you propose populism on the left, it's the media that eviscerates it. No!
Well, this part, he's correct. Let me grab a couple more of these comments if I could. So, V4571 says, Argentina's stock market rose 18% today after Milei's election. Yes, already on the way. Yes, absolutely. Dave says, Larry, a candidate's father defended members of the military unit. Translation, the sins of the father are passed to the child. Only if they're not socialists, Dave. That's it, right? If you don't follow my politics, that's true. Yes. Scott says, Jake is a tip bat. That's funny. But no, he's actually not dumb. He's just an ideologue, right? He's an ideologue. Mr. Taz says, this Milei guy has an explosive personality. That's true. Doing a victory dance on a podium. Do you think having such an extroverted personality would attract more voters? I think as a general rule, yes. People tend to like boisterous people who are like that. Generally, Trump is great on a stump, isn't he? Right? Obama was great on a stump too. I mean, whatever side you were on, these people were both great on a stump. They're out there to hoop and holler. So I do think charisma really does matter. I really think it is. I think it really does. I think it really does matter. So just my opinion on that one.
Corporate rule is awesome. Do not raise your heads, leftists. So now they're going to, and by the way, here's a proof of concept. The one place where populists on the left was allowed was Brazil. And then Lula won. Mm-hmm. And Lula.
Now, this is why I wanted you to see that is exactly what I said, right? Leftists who like left populism look at Brazil and say, see, look at the successes. Is Lula the perfect president? Of course not. But I don't see any people on the left attacking him for that stuff. They got their mouth shut. It's just, see, look, he won. There's leftists winning. See, we can win, which is what I would like libertarians to do. I would like us to follow their successful PR model. When he does things, meaning Milei, when he does things that aren't great, just shut up, say nothing, let it go. And when he does good stuff, like the stock market raised 18% today, post that. Talk about that. That's a good thing. Discuss those things. Yes, I'm saying literally, you pick the best thing you can possibly pick. Joel says Lula is a criminal. Not to them. They don't say that, do they, Joel? Literally my point. You can say that. I don't care. I don't care about Lula. Say it all day. I care about Milei. That's who I care about. So we can just not say anything. We can just let it go. He didn't say that. He didn't go Lula was a criminal. He said he won. See? He only said the good part. He kept the other part quiet.
Won easily. The leftist populists will win much more easily than right-wing populists, but we have to get under the oppressive thumb of mainstream media here in America.
So as I promised, the right wing in America has been gloating about this win in Argentina. Donald Trump posted about this on Truth Social multiple times. In one instance saying congratulations to Javier Milei on a.
Now, again, she comes back. She's the attack dog. She does all of the character assassination. That's her job. And don't get me wrong, she's very good at it. And I mean she's good at what she does. So now she shows here. Clearly, he's evil because Trump is the evilest person. TYT, Trump's the evilest person in the world, right? He's basically Satan on this channel. So see, if the devil likes him, he's got to be bad.
Great race for president of Argentina. The whole world was watching. I'm very proud of you. You will turn your country around and truly make Argentina great again. You have Tucker Carlson
laughing,
posting a photo alongside
Tucker Carlson, number 2 evil guy on this channel, of course.
Side Milei. And then the Daily Wire's Ben Shapiro said that this is also awesome news. And then finally, I want to go to the video posted by Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Also evil in their eyes. All these people in their eyes are terrible. Now, some of them are terrible, don't get me wrong, but all of these are terrible.
She celebrated this win by Milei as well with this video embedded in her tweet. Let's watch.
Yep.
Ministerio de Cultura, afuera.
Minister of Culture, gone.
Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo
Minister of Sustainable Development, gone.
Ministerio de las Mujeres
Minister of Women, Gender and Diversity, gone.
Ministerio de
Minister of Public Works, gone.
Afuera, aunque te resistas. Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología y Innovación.
Science, Technology, Innovation, gone.
Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social.
Labor, gone.
Ministerio de Educación.
Education,
Adoctrinamiento,
gone.
Ministerio de Transporte,
Transportation, gone.
Ministerio de
Health,
Salud,
gone.
afuera. Ministerio de
Development,
Desarrollo Social,
gone.
afuera.
Now, and be clear. He threw all those out. This video was seen by Argentinians. 55% still voted for him. Let me say that again. They saw this. They voted for him. Yet what does that say in TYT lower third? It says, that's loco. That's what it says. That's loco. That you're crazy for this. So clearly Argentinians are crazy. They're trying to explain away why they did this. Explain away why it happened. They don't want to accept it as, they saw this as garbage. These ministry, this is the point they didn't get, they forgot. Remember in the beginning, what all the people said? Nothing but corruption. They saw all of these government ministries as just colossal wastes of money and time. Do you know why they saw it as that? Because all those ministries were a colossal waste of money and time. That's why. They knew it and they voted against it. When are we going to figure that out?
Se acabó el curro de la política.
The thievery of politics is over.
Okay.
She laughs at that. She's like, haha, these dumb people who think government isn't the answer to everything. But the Young Turks will tell you, that they are the rebels, that they are independent media. They will tell you that. They'll tell you that while Cenk is running as Democrat and supporting this idea and not going, great, look, some third party won. No. This guy's crazy and a clown.
I gotta say, that fuera is a lot of fun, but really you wanna do away with the tourism ministry?
No. She said, listen to what she just said. She just said, what a self-tell this is. You want to get rid of the tourist industry. As if you can't have an industry without a ministry. This is what she actually believes, but she says she's not an establishment person. She'll tell you that. She will say she's not establishment. She will tell you she's independent media. She will tell you all these things, yet she believes in her heart, self-tell, that if you get rid of the Ministry of Tourism, you can't have tourism. She just told you that.
Pretty sure tourism brings money into Argentina, no? And
I don't think you have to have a ministry.
And you want to do away with the technology and innovation ministry?
No. Look, he ripped up science. He ripped up
science, he says. So without the government, there's no science. There's no innovation. There's no tourism. Look, she's laughing. She loves this. Look at the hypocrisy of these two. See, we're not with the establishment and the Democrats and neoliberals, yet we can't imagine there being tourism without a tourism ministry. That's gone. She's laughing. Oh my God, how are you going to have science without the government? It's impossible. Before governments, there was no science. In fact, there's no tourism without government ministries. Yes. She goes on, he ripped up labor. There's no labor without government. No one can work without government. They honestly believe that and are laughing. They're laughing.
Labor, those are the workers. He ripped up.
The workers aren't the ministry. The ministry was clearly screwing the workers. That's why 10% of your population is destitute and 40% is poor. So clearly that garbage ministry was not doing its job. Yes, because it's government. What would you expect? But they have no concept of this. This clearly is not stupidity. Anna is not stupid. Cenk is not stupid. These are ideologues who cannot imagine government not controlling everything. They can't. That's why she laughs. It's preposterous. These people are clearly insane or crazy or desperate. Because why else would they vote away the Ministry of Tourism? There'll be no tourism.
Transport? So you don't want any transportation in Argentina?
He already just said, could you, I'm sorry, I'm going nuts here because I know libertarians are watching and they want to just explode when they hear this. But this is what I talk about all the time. Libertarians always say, Larry, you just got to abolish, right? You got to abolish everything. Again, Cenk is not stupid. Whatever you think of him, he's not dumb. That's not a thing. He's not dumb. He's an ideologue. He honestly believes this. He believes this. He believes if you get rid of the Department of Education, there'll be no education. He believes that. And you know what? A whole lot of Americans believe that too. So when we yell, get rid of the whatever, they believe there'll be nothing. He just said it. So you don't want transportation in Argentina? He honestly believes that if you get rid of the ministry, there'll be all of a sudden, no one will drive anymore. He does believe that. He's not dumb. He's an ideologue.
Afuera.
And these, look, this guy, this is what I hate about right-wing populism.
See, left-wing populism would have more ministries. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love this. Oh my God. Kyle says their entire show preaches anti-establishment, but they are exactly that. Thank you, Kyle. Yes. And again, I want to bring this up. They want him to fail. They will turn the show any way they want to make sure it fails. We don't have to help. So Terry make me laugh. He goes, did he get rid of the ministry of wiping your ass? Well, you clearly can't wipe your ass. You can try to, but you can't. There's no ministry to tell us how and make it happen. So valid point. Libertarians, valid point. Yes, 100%. Yes. All righty. All right. It's actually very good. I do love that. Yes. Joe says, I just want to tell them having government make a policies/laws department doesn't make it do that thing. Yeah. Valid point. Yes, absolutely. Mr. Taz says, I don't think even they believe their own hogwash. Really? Donning the cloak of fake rebels, they feel more like control opposition. You know what? You may be right. To be forward, I don't know specifically. But if they're controlled opposition, they're really good. Like, they're really good. I mean, maybe it's true, but they're really good. Like, why is he running against Joe Biden and hammering him all day? Controlled opposition. He is making Biden weaker. I think that's true. He is. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think he is making Biden weaker. So if you're right, Mr. Taz, if he is controlled opposition, he's really good. I don't think so. I think he honestly believes it. I think both of them do. I think they spend their life around people who talk this way and act this way. And why? Because again, I live in New York City. A lot of my friends, Democrats, they believe this stuff. They do. They believe that if you get rid of the Department of Education, there'll be no education. If you get rid of the Department of Transportation, there'll be no transportation. They honestly believe that. They're like, don't you want transportation? Yes. So why do I have to? People will still drive trucks. Like, stuff will still move around without the ministry, right? You don't have to have that. So yeah, I think they believe it. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. But I do think that they believe it. I absolutely do. So yes, let me keep going if I could. The Messianic Minarchist says, with the left, there's more ministries. With the right, it's the ministries suck, but we can fix them. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Many Republicans I know do say that. It's just corruption, or it's just that's not good, or if we just have better people, they will. You're right. I think the right often says that. That's true. Yeah, they often say that.
They're trying to trick you into supporting corporate rule even more.
See? So he's tricking you. Because what Milei actually wants, because they believe this, by the way, they believe that libertarians want corporate rule. even though no libertarians ever talk about corporate rule. But they believe that. They think libertarians are just, I guess, harder core right wingers, I guess, or something. They believe that.
It's like, okay, we are so tired of the status quo, so we should give everything to the top bankers and to the top corporations, and we should.
Now, hold on. He just said, if you go back about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago, that's what neoliberals do. Now he's saying libertarians do that because he's saying everybody does it. If you actually just want to hate on people, this is a good show to watch. If you want to actually make sense of things, this will just drive you crazy.
Not serve the average Argentinian at all. How is that populism? How is that for the people?
Which is why it's not anything that he said. So that would be the reason why. It's nothing that he said. I brought that to you for several reasons. One, because I wanted you to see that they're already attacking him, that they will already do it. And I'll give my final request for you. But before I do that, guys, if you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, click that like button. I know I keep saying it, but it does matter. Click the button, please. Click that like button, damn it. It does matter. It's how I get past the algorithms. Second, if you're watching on Twitter, retweet this now if you would. Retweeting it does help. Every time you retweet, it helps. And of course, if you want to super chat me, you can on Larry Sharpe YouTube. Please do that if you want to. But either way, click the like button. It does matter. If you want to support the show, you can. Absolutely. You can head over if you want to. Head over to patreon.com/sharpeway. $10 a month goes a long way to make me doing this. If you want to support my ballot access, you can do that also. LarrySharpe.com/ballot-access. Its description is in the YouTube page and also on the Facebook page. Check that out. So what I would like you to do, hold on. Adam says, Larry, you're a nice man, but I can call Cenk a fat mess. The issue I want to bring up here is they are going to be attacking him left and right. Let's give him some grace. That's what I'm asking you for. Unless, if you know another one, I'm happy to hear another one's been elected, but I don't know if any of the libertarians at a national level, at a federal level, or national level, who have elected. He's one. He will not be perfect. Of course not. And if one of your big issues is something he does, I get it. You might want to say something, I get it. Right? Dan brought up the idea that he can't stand his foreign policy with supporting Ukraine and Israel. I get it. He doesn't like it. The guy obviously is pro-war. It's fine. I don't like that either. If that's your number one issue, then Dan, I get it. You got to say something. But if that's not your number one issue, I would ask you when that comes up, you don't have to support it. Just say nothing. Let it go. Do what you just saw TYT do. Only said the good about Lula, nothing about the bad. Only said the good, nothing about the bad. They just said nothing, right? We can do that. So Joel brings up more about Lula. Lula won, then blocked Bolsonaro from future ballots in Brazil. There we go. He didn't say that, Joel. He said nothing. He kept his mouth shut. And I'm saying I'm going to do that. I am going to give Milei the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him grace. If he starts doing crappy stuff, I'm going to keep my mouth shut as long as he's doing good stuff. I'm going to show the good stuff, ignore the bad stuff for the first 6 months to a year. I'm going to see if he has some successes. And if he does, I'm going to show them so that we can have successes. Because here's what I promise you. This attack on him is the beginning. He did a whole show on him. And that's just one group. Tons of people did shows on him, hammering him all day long. He's crazy, far right nut, blah, 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 all over the place. So that's not going to stop. If you consider yourself libertarian, I know some of you don't, but if you do, I am asking you to follow my model, the model that I am going to follow, which is give him grace for at least 6 months, if not a year. When bad things pop up, just say nothing, let it go. When good things pop up, show them, support them, flout them when the good things show up. When some selfish libertarians go, I gotta call this out, or whatever they do, because they will, they're going to be self-righteous and self-centered, and they're going to do that and think they're saving the world. They're not. They're making things worse. It's fine. They're going to do it. Just ignore them. Don't defend him on their posts. Don't share their posts. Ignore them. Give them no energy at all. I do it all the time. Again, I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not doing already or won't do. Just ignore them. If you do that, they'll just die out. And we can sit back a year from now and look and say, did he have any successes? can we now, as we're running for office at a local level, as we're trying to push some issue in our town hall, as we're trying to make our community, our state, our city, our town, our county more free, can we now look at him and go, see, he did that and it worked? Can we do what he just did? Just say the good thing. Because any of you who've tried to push a ballot initiative, any of you who've tried to run for office, and if any of you try to have more liberty in your local community, how many times have you heard somebody say, well, where's the libertarian this or where's the libertarian that? We have an opportunity here. Give him grace. He's not going to be perfect. Guaranteed. He's not. He does not need your knife in his back. That's what I'm asking you to do. I think it does matter. Darcy says, that's what the job of those who knows is, gently and calmly educate those who do not know about things like what the Departments of Education, Transportation do and don't do, etc. Yeah. Thank you. Most people don't know, though. They think without it, we'll be destroyed. Absolutely. So media personalities and politicians just say whatever they need to make money, get elected. Do you think all of Olivia Rodrigo or Justin Bieber songs are about real people? It's the same thing. Maybe. Right? Maybe. You bring up a valid point. Maybe TYT is just like, this is who we are, so we have to stay on brand. Maybe. It could be that. Either way, they're going to hammer him like there's no tomorrow. So Lance says, I want to see examples of how a libertarian president can overcome inertia. That's what I'm waiting for. Yes, thank you, Lance. Let's have some grace and see if he can do that. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Let's see if we can do that. Guys, I say thank you so much for this evening. I appreciate you hearing me. I hope that I've shown you a good example and you will copy it. I hope you will. You don't have to, obviously. Do whatever you want. I hope we can give him some grace, move on, and make things better for all of us in the future. I'll be on tomorrow. It won't be Tuesdays with Kathy. It will be Wednesdays with Kathy tomorrow at 7 p.m. And also tomorrow at 11 a.m., I will be on Allison Moreau's show. If you want to check out Allison Moreau TV on Twitter, you'll see me there at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I will see you all very soon.